Hey Doodlebugs, I'm having an existential crisis and you're going to experience it with me. Disclaimer, it's 1 a.m. and I promise you the strongest thing I've had tonight is a single glass of whiskey and a prawn vindaloo. It's okay, you can judge me. And maybe it's the gastric irritation caused by an overabundance of chili, or maybe it's sheer terror, or maybe it's both, but right now I can't breathe. So let's set the scene. You're scrolling through Twitter and you see a post that says, "What if humans had to evacuate the Earth? Where would we go?" And it shows an incredibly realistic AI image of countless rockets blasting off into the sky. And this image inspires a thought that's crossed your mind a million times before. And when it usually does, it's accompanied by a sense of awe and wonder. But for whatever reason, this time that same thought feels different. Instead of awe and wonder, it's accompanied by fear and panic. Because this time, instead of reveling in how magical it is for the Goldilocks conditions of our improbable planet to provide us with not only our existence, but a fleeting moment of awareness in which to consciously appreciate the insanity of it all, you now realise that all of this is meaningless because of how we are trapped on what is essentially the universe's equivalent of a grain of sand hurtling through space at an incomprehensible speed, never revisiting the same space twice, orbiting a giant ball of gas that will one day destroy us, not us, obviously, but collective Earth us. And that's not all. Not only are we hurtling through this vast amount of nothingness, that nothingness is filled with other giant rocks, gamma rays, and rogue black holes, and other terrifying things that could quite easily kill us, and the most absurd part of it is you just have to sit here and assume that it won't. Because statistically speaking, it won't. But it's theoretically possible, and it's out of your control. And that's where the fear kicks in. It's out of your control. You didn't ask for this. You just have to live it. Tough luck, kiddo. Not enjoying the ride? Want to try the teacups instead of the waltzers? Well, you can't. No getting off while the ride is in motion, and it's always in motion. But even if you could, where would you even go? The moon? Mars? Earth is clearly the bestest one, and it's the only one with default survivable conditions, unless you're a billionaire, or Matt Damon. But then on top of all that, you realise that this planet, you know, the one that you're permanently tethered to, is screwed. And you appreciate that that's where the panic really stemmed from. The Titanic is sinking and you don't have a lifeboat. You're stuck on a corrupted, dying space rock, spinning at an incomprehensible speed, further and further away from everything else in the universe, and the only thing you can do is convince yourself that you still have some kind of purpose. Which is why they still make you go to work and pay taxes. Climate change, corrupt governments, the threat of war, economic crisis, being over 30 without a child, being larger than a size 8, modern day oppressions, social inequalities, gender inequalities, racial inequalities, postcode lotteries, the healthcare crisis, pandemics, aliens, allegedly, animals facing extinction, scientists waking up frozen bacteria, those creepy angel statues, train strikes, Mandela effects, and that group of cats that keep having secret meetings on the corner of my street. It's all so suffocating. But there's no way to get more air because guess what? We're polluting all that too. There's no escape and nothing you can do about it. The Earth is 12,756 kilometers in diameter, and yet it's starting to feel extremely claustrophobic. And while you know that this is a reality you have to accept, that's the issue, isn't it? You were forced into this, and it really doesn't seem fair. No wonder there's an anxiety epidemic. How do you possibly find comfort in all of this? How can you be okay with your newfound planetary imprisonment? Well, you don't have to be okay. That's one option. But you can't win that fight, so you're setting yourself up for a long, anxiety-riddled, miserable existence, probably overcompensated by destructive coping mechanisms and listening to an unhealthy amount of jazz. Not ideal. Or you could embrace it, accept your new identity as a reckless cosmonaut while you laugh in the face of absurdity and pay your taxes ironically with a little wink to the man every time you do. I'm onto you, dude. This isn't perfect, but it's a million times more preferable. It's like if we tie a dog to a moving cart. Zeno of Citium's metaphor, not mine. Let me know if I pronounced that correctly, please. You have two choices. 1, be dragged along painfully, or 2, trot along with the cart willingly. There is a third option, but it works out much better for the dog and less well for us in this scenario. But I'll leave you to figure that out. When a dog is tied to a cart, if the dog doesn't want to go in the direction of the cart, well, you can imagine the mess that causes. Sorry, doggo.
It's okay. I rebelled.
Assuming it's a slow-moving cart and the dog resists, it's going to get dragged along, battered and bruised, exhausted and in poor shape. If the dog follows the cart willingly, however, the journey is smoother, safer, happier. Yay for doggo.
Yay!
The dog may even enjoy its journey as it spends less time fighting and denying itself pleasure. Insert reasons here: principle, fear, deliberate defiance, low self-worth, whatever. And more time appreciating the impossible things unfolding around him.
I'm enjoying myself.
So if you are the dog and the earth is the cart, perhaps embracing a little stoic wisdom may help. Accept that you can't control the direction of the cart. Allow it to go where it wants, do what it wants, fall apart how it wants. Maybe do what you can to not damage the cart further. Perhaps consider the impact of cartal warming, for example. We only get one cart after all. But most importantly, just enjoy the freaking ride. The main thing here is you know you'll be okay. Yeah, you have a new fear unlocked, but the future of our planet is a perfectly valid thing for an intelligent mind to worry about. And you know once you finally get some sleep, you'll be fine. However, you can't deny that this mind fork has awoken a new dread in you for the future of mankind. Does that mean you're woke now? Have you become enlightened? Are you in a new plane of existence, leveled up? I don't believe any of this, by the way. They're just terms thrown around TikTok that I'm using to appear relevant. Did it work? Anyway, the point is you realise you're overthinking. Welcome to Advanced Overthinking with Melody. Time to take a break from reading the news at night, methinks. Tomorrow you'll begin to believe that we're all scientific miracles again, and you'll buy into the idea that the odds of your existence are so overwhelmingly teeny tiny that you should be in awe and amazed or grateful or whatever. And maybe you'll do some yoga, and maybe you'll go back to drawing silly cartoons on the internet or something. But right now, at least for the next few minutes, I'm consciously allowing the anxiety to rise. It feels important to acknowledge it. It feels generational, ancestral. It feels primal. And that is the most pretentious thing I've ever said. Damn.